Hey, y'all. Hey, this is Ann with Andale Homestead.
And this is Monica from Bland's Promised Land Ranch.
Sandy here with Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming, Arizona.
Hello, everyone. It is Casey over at Ormsby Farms, and we are so excited that you have decided to join us for our Tuesday night radio show. Hey, y'all. Hey, we have a fun episode tonight. We are talking about, listen, this is a new thing for me too, y'all. I'm going to try to say it right. Seed Snail Roll. Okay, say that 10 times fast in the chat.
Yay, hooray, you did it right.
It's a great way if you have a smaller space, and if you listened to our podcast yesterday that came out, it was all about seed snail roll, that it's good for small spaces if you're growing a lot of plants. And we're going to talk more about that now. But first of all, what we want to do is we want to pop it over to Miss Ann and say, Ann, can you say hello to everybody that is in the chat tonight?
I would love to. Hey, Asia Joe, she won on my live this morning. I'm so glad to see you, honey. Looking forward to getting you those gloves. Hey, Cheryl, how are you? Good to see you. Penny Ortiz, we love you, all of us, each of us, everyone. And she says hello to each of us individually. Joe, fix it for you because he can fix it for all of us. And let's see, who else do we have in here? Troy Sutton. You just don't know, honey. Behind the scenes, we are a bigger hoot than what you see out here on the air. It is so funny. But I love these people and all of you for being in here with us tonight because we really do learn from each other and we are stronger together. So we try to give you, thank you, Penny. So we try to give you some new ideas or maybe revisit some old ideas. I'm hearing a little bit of reverb. I've tried to close all my things. It might be me, but let's see what we can do about trying to fix that. So
I was about to say, is that better? Are we still hearing?
I think that's a lot better. That's much better. Yes, thank you. Of course it's better. So Monica, seed snails, are they a new concept to you?
Absolutely. I actually finally I had to place a lot of orders for Amazon after I had this episode so that I could try to get some packing in there. I figured if I kept ordering things that eventually I would get some of that packing. I mean, I don't have time to go out to the store and buy it. So what I'm going to do is just order random things that I need for the house until finally I get the proper packing that I can use to make a seed snail. So that's what I figured I would do. So I finally got some in, and now I can make some seed snails with my kids. So I'm actually going to try it with my 8-year-old. I'm really excited to get him to do some seed snails with me because I had some really cool Trombocino squash plants going. And they got real big and they were gorgeous, and my garden wasn't ready and they died.
Oh, well, it happens.
Seed snail jokers and then plant them.
We were talking about squash because we're going to be showing tonight, because if you listen to our episode yesterday, Sandy and Ann actually did it on, not really on camera, but pretty much on camera. And we're going to show them to you tonight, how they look. But I just wanted to say before, because Ann was talking about how we're a hoot before we come live. Can I just say how funny it is? Because I get to see all 4 of us before we go live down in the background one. And Ann usually is dancing to the music. I am usually checking my teeth to make sure I don't have any spinach or anything before we go on. Monica usually has her phone. I guess she's checking to see if any children have texted before we go on. And I can tell Sandy is getting in the zone. She is zoning herself. It's so funny. We may have to put out a live or a day of us before we go live. Anyways,
that would be great. That would be great. Let's see now. I'm still hearing that echo just a little bit. So not sure, Sandy.
I don't have it. I don't have anything on.
Nothing open. Okay. Well, hey, it's just one of those woo whammy nights. My internet has been weird too. So. But thank you, not for nothing, for being here. Not for nothing, Homestead. Our ginger is, and the magnificent Germany with Darius. Ooh, yay! Alive instead of a replay. That's right. We're glad you're here, honey. We're so glad to have everyone. It's so awesome. So, Sandy, you and you did a little video of how you did the first seed snail in this season. Do we have that video, Casey?
Oh, sorry, I didn't pull that up.
Oh, that's okay.
We do not.
Okay.
But after this live, if you want to see it, if you go over to our YouTube channel, you can see it. It's on the podcast episode. If you go to our YouTube podcast, it shows both of y'all, so they'll be able to watch it after this live.
After the live, around the hay bale, Well, it's a lot of fun. I had never done a seed snail before. And so, you live and learn. I made mine fat and sassy, like your very first cinnamon bun that you ever would make. And so it turned out being pretty big. And I get to show you. Can I show you? And then we'll see Sandy's all the different sizes, the right sizes that you're supposed to do your seed snails when you don't have heavy hands. So this is my seed snail, y'all.
Can you also just say what your husband said about when he saw all of those squash plants?
He said, Ann, there are 21 summer squash plants in that thing. What are we going to do with 21 summer squash plants? 21 of them. Well, I might be sharing some of them. They look wild and crazy. And as Monica said, this is what my brain looks like. But they're not, I should have, they need to go outside and get in the ground. And it's time. I have fed them some fertilizer and things like that, but they got a little leggy at first. And so I'm still learning. But that's my example of the seed snails. And it's been a lot of fun to know that I have 21 squash plants growing in an area like this. So y'all can do this too. So Sandy, let's see some of your examples, please, of the seed snails that you have planted.
Okay. Now, from yesterday morning, if you watched that, Ann did the squash and I did lemon seeds. Now, lemons take a long time to come up, but look I got a lemon coming up there now. So I would guess in the next week I'll have all kinds of them. Now, I wanted to be able to show you guys more than just that one little lemon. So last week, not even 8 days ago, I planted some other ones. And like these are radishes.
Oh my gracious.
Oh, wow, cool.
Now, see, hers are sweet and compact, and they're just so awesome. And I'm learning, and my next seed snail is going to be like this instead of like this, and so that I won't have 21 summer squash plants.
Well, I don't think it's right or wrong. You can have as many as you wanted. You can give them to people. Like this is lettuce coming up.
Oh my gracious!
So they're so small. I don't want to drip it on my computer,
but it's only been a week.
How are you gonna transplant? Like, at what point do you transplant lettuce? I was
about to ask that. Like one for people that are in the chat, because I see a lot of wows, never heard of this. The reason, and if you listen to our podcast, Sandy was talking about one of the big reasons for Seed Snail Rolls is you can unroll it and it doesn't mess up with the roots as much as if you're doing it in the small little pots. You have to squeeze and punch and grab and pull. This is a way, right? So when are radishes and lettuce ready to go? Because they look kind of ready to be transplanted now at a week.
Well, I could. It would just depend on your weather. So that's how you're going to judge when you're going to start to plant them. Because, here's some peas.
Look at those.
Gosh.
And so they just started coming up about 40 hours ago. It wasn't very long.
That's
And
insane.
Do you just unroll it?
Yeah.
you do, because the idea is instead of the roots going all directions, it's going to go right along that bubble wrap, because I'm using bubble wrap. There's other things you can use. And then the roots are going to go deep. So I just build a trench, and I'm just going to lean them on the side of the trench and push the dirt back.
Wow.
Okay. Yep.
And so like the radishes, there's a lot of radishes in there. Do I need that many radishes? Probably not. But I can always cut those off and use them as a microgreen.
There
Yeah, I
you
was gonna say you've
go.
got just a bunch of greens right there now, right?
Right. And my Swiss chard
There
isn't up
you
yet, but that always takes longer. So you just have to know your your vegetable, you know.
So feasibly, Miss Ann's gonna take her craziness that is her seed snail right now,
Mhm.
and she's
Bring
gonna like lay it on its backside and just start unrolling it.
Yes, you're just going to unroll it slowly, because you don't want to you have soil between the bubble wraps and then
Should
the
she
roots
water
inside
it
there.
first?
Well, I like to keep mine a little bit damp, not
Yeah.
soggy, but I do like them a little bit damp. And I had watered them this afternoon, and so that's why they were a little drippy. Otherwise, they wouldn't be drippy.
Okay.
But it's really easy. You just take your time and just unroll it. And then you're going to just gently lift those out and put them. So when Anne's planting in the garden, she's going to want to take that whole seed snail out to the garden. And have you been hardening off your squash seeds?
Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, we have a little dog issue that's going on in the room right now. I've got 3 grand dogs staying with me, and they're all trying to get in and out of the room at the moment. So, but yes, okay, wait a minute. Poor Worth, he's going, come here, get it. I'm trying to get him. It's crazy town, but lives are wonderful that way. But I have been putting them on our screened in back porch, which is in direct sunlight and in and out of the house kind of thing. And so they've been hardening off, and which is a good thing. I haven't actually put them like outside of the screened in porch in direct sunlight yet, because it's really hot and sunny back there in that
Yeah,
corner.
but you do want them to get used to that, though.
Okay. Well, then
You
I'll
know,
have to do that.
Well,
just
and question
start
for you,
with an
Sandy.
hour at a time. I'm
Well,
sorry.
with Anne's summer squash, now I know the answer to this because you answered it on the podcast, but like tomato plants, if you're leggy squash plants, you want to make them less leggy. Do you plant them deeper? Do they grow roots underneath there, or does it make it stronger? Or
Well, what it's different than a tomato, right? But if you've grown squashes before and they hit the dirt, the vine hits the dirt, it will root itself, especially if you put some dirt over top of that.
Right.
So it will put out some roots, especially where there's any kind of node. But it's not like a tomato where it just sends roots the whole way up and down that stalk.
Right. So what my plan is after they have been, visiting the actual outside, then slowly, but then when I take them to the garden, unroll the snail roll, then I'll dig them deep, like down to the first leaves, right? To put them in the ground.
Yeah, depending on where your nodes are, your little side branches that it's making.
Okay.
Yeah, but I would do the trench first before you ever unroll it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
So,
you.
because you don't want those roots to dry out at all.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, we have garden cover. So what we do is go and burn holes where we're going to put our plants. So it's likely that we'll go and burn the little holes and then dig out,
Oh, okay.
dig out of the hole, and then I'll be able to place them. And so I'm going to have a lot of summer squash, y'all. A whole bunch. It's going to be fun. But these seed snails, y'all, you can have like trays and trays and trays of plants
Yeah.
all in one little section. So
Mhm.
I love it. I love that idea.
Yeah, and you can really do it with any vegetable. You can start your flowers like that. You could start herbs like that. So
Right.
that a lot of times people don't have space in their house to do very many, or they don't have a greenhouse or a cold frame or anything like that. But little tiny thing with a little light,
Yeah.
you can literally do hundreds of plants in a little tiny space.
And what I have is like a little plastic tray that's like this.
Hmm.
And so if I make my seed snails like normal people do, yeah, there you go,
Yeah.
in smaller rounds. Now, I do have to ask a question because this was asked before. I love the planning method. I'm so anxious to try it for the first time. Do it, Ginger. Do it. And we want to see, and then do a short on it. And we want to see, or a video, long video if you want to, be
Mhm.
fine
And
with me.
tag us round the hay bale.
Yes, tag round the hay bale on it, please.
Yes.
Um, is because, there are people that don't care for squash or zucchini.
Mhm.
So could they plant different seeds in the same snail?
Well, you could. You just would like to have them kind of grow at the same rate. Otherwise, say you planted squash with something that takes longer,
Right,
like Swiss chard takes a lot longer to germinate, even though I soaked the seeds beforehand. Because those squash could get too big and cover all the light for those other plants. But if you think about it, you could plan your seed snail and put all these different like herbs, all these different flowers, or say you wanted to do different kinds of tomatoes. You would
right.
just have to mark the seed snail so that you knew where each thing was.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, but seed snails have actually been around for a very long time. I know people, there's a lot of articles online and it tries to tell you that
I
this
was
lady,
waiting for Sandy to say it.
well, well, it irritates me. I'm sorry, okay? Gets me a little riled up when people say, oh, this person invented this. Well, this woman in the UK did not invent seed snails. You can pull up articles from 2012 about seed snails.
Right.
We have been doing them in Wyoming for 30 years. And so that's my soapbox for tonight.
There you go. That's awesome. I think that's great. Now, we talked about it in the podcast, but what you do as far as you can use any kind of material. I happened to get in, I was been trying to find my roll sitting here in this room, but I don't see it in hand's reach. But I have like a styrofoam roll of styrofoam packing, and it's about this tall. And so I just pulled out as much as I wanted, folded it in half
Mhm. Right.
so that the the folded part is up top and the open end is at the bottom. Laid dirt on it. Sandy went ahead and put her seeds in there. I did not. I rolled it up first and take the end and then put my seeds in all around the snail. So you can do it either way. It works either way, right?
Right.
I
Right.
like I like your way because when it's laid out and the dirt is on there, you can see exactly how deep you get your seeds. Um,
Yeah. But you just have to know your seeds because there are seeds that need light to germinate. So
right.
you would very much want to just sprinkle them on the top.
Like calendula seeds, you're
Mm.
only supposed to cover them by like a 16th of an inch or something.
Right. So that, what, depending on the seed, then you could just sprinkle a little teeny bit or some vermiculite or sand or something on top and just let them push their way through.
It's just so cool, y'all. I love it. My volume is low as we're in bed turning soon, but I've got my chat up. Okay, good for you, Asia Joe.
Okay,
So
so Ginger said Cheryl had a question in Sandy's chat for this.
okay.
If you wanted to answer.
Yeah.
All right.
A radish is actually in the brassica family. Cabbage, broccolis, kale. Those are all cool weather plants. So basically, all of these are cool weather plants. Though you can grow lettuce all through the year, you can plant it early. So the radishes are, the lettuce, the peas you can plant early, and the Swiss chard. So that's why this tray has what it has in there. because they're all cool weather plants.
There we go. There we go. And so I could plant like squash and zucchini in the same thing, which they're both squashes. But you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? It would
yeah,
be two different things.
right.
We could plant several different types of tomatoes. You could plant several different types of herbs or even well anything. Honestly, as long as it's in the same family.
Well, I used to plant
Well,
in
not
my seed trays tomatoes and peppers together. Is that awful to do that in
no,
seed
no.
snail? Because they germinate around the same time.
Yeah,
There you
yeah.
go.
They can be different families. Just you just want to know how they're growing and when you're going to plant them. Like Monica has been trying to collect bubble wrap, or you can use that foam stuff too. Rolls of foam doesn't matter. What are
Mhm.
you going to plant, Monica?
I'm going to replant my trombosino squash. And then what I was thinking about doing is once I do the trombosino squash, which is a multi-purpose squash, you can keep it and you can harden it off and keep it as more of like a winter, but you can also eat it as a nice green squash in the summer. But I was thinking of kind of using that to start spacing out. So when I wanted to do another, maybe some like other spots of peppers, like if I wanted to regrow some peppers for the fall or whatever, I was going to kind of just maybe grow some flowers too. I was thinking of giving my 8-year-old a chance to decide what do we want to grow, because I thought it might be really fun for him to pick some different things. I even thought some herbs because I'm struggling with my herbs this year and I don't have any basil, and I haven't grown any basil and I always have basil. And so I
Yeah.
thought, okay, maybe even some basil, but for sure the squash right now.
Well, I
That's
mean, I think that for me, growing in that seed snail, I didn't have to once, you get them in the little teeny trays and the little teeny boxes and the little teeny
Yeah.
trays. And then when they come up, you've got to repot them into a bigger pot. And
Yeah.
then you've got a lot of pots. And then you've got to repot those into either the ground or even a larger pot. Where this is all in one. I didn't have to do that work. So, and what I personally did when I put them in a little plastic tray like Sandy has, I placed it on a heat mat by a window, but I also used grow lights. And so it grew super fast. I mean, look at Sandy's stuff. It grows.
yeah,
It's been a week.
yeah.
He's already ready to do things.
Another thing that somebody was asking about when would be the best time to grow whatever, one of the things we just talked about actually in an upcoming episode is how you can actually use websites. For instance, the tomatoes, there's a seasonal food guide. And if you go to the seasonalfoodguide.org, we talk about it on one of our coming episodes. But if you want to go there and check it out, you can actually type in your state and the month and then the vegetable or the fruit or whatever produce it is, and it'll tell you when the best time to grow in your area is. And I think it's so
That's
cool to
so
be able to use that to kind of give you
Mhm.
that idea, and it'll help you a little bit more than maybe just kind of taking a guess and putting it in. But I'm also for trying new things too. So I don't necessarily say I'm just gonna plan it when it says. I'll maybe try it all year if I want.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so all of you guys can do a fall garden, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
So why not use the seed snails? Start some in January or in July,
Yeah.
so that
Mhm.
you're not using up a lot of space. And
Mhm.
but when you're ready, when you're pulling something else out, you can just be planting other things in.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a smart idea.
Yeah, that's what Eric had
He's a
actually recommended.
great
We have a big
genius.
garden that's open, and he said, "Hey, why don't we just leave this open? It's a big section." I said, "I don't know what I'm going to put there. Like I got to put something there, right? It's like it's like a blank space on a desk. You got to fill it up with something. I got to put a book or something there, but
Yeah.
it's like empty." And he's like, "Why don't we leave it open so that as the fall season comes around, you can start backfilling it with your fall veggies?" He said, "You were excited about, oh, there you go, Dornita. That's awesome." One of the things that you look at it is, if you want your cabbage and you want your broccoli and stuff, he's like, "Why don't you leave that space open for your brassicas to go in there when you're ready?" And I was like, "Okay, that sounds like a good plan." So I could feasibly start my brassicas in a seed snail, right?
Yeah.
Right,
Sure.
right.
Absolutely.
And then get that ready so that that's ready to go as soon as it's time. And I don't have to go
Yeah.
buy it from Home Depot.
And if you just slowly and roll it, maybe you only need 4 of those right now.
Yeah.
And you could wait a week before you'd put the other ones in.
That's a
So
really
you
good
could
idea.
so you could just roll it back up and put it back in the container.
Oh,
See,
that's
that's
a
where
cool idea.
I lose a lot of mine from those little bitty ones to the next size up because I like can't decide how many I want to up pot. And then I
Yeah.
feel guilty for killing off those little babies. And then I feel super guilt. And then I plant everything. And then I get overwhelmed. And then everything dies. And then
And
I'm
then
super mad at myself for like abandoning this baby garden that I just started. And like I feel extreme gardener guilt. Like that's real. Like when you have to like
Yes.
choose one baby plant over another.
It is.
So, Sandy, you're saying if you unroll it, okay, let me make sure that my mind is blown and I'm understanding the blownness.
Okay.
You unroll your snail. So I'm unrolling.
Mhm.
I can just take one or two and then I can roll her back up.
Well, you don't even have to unroll it all the way. Just roll it to where say you need 3 plants. Just unroll it to where you got those 3 plants. Take those out, roll it back up. Then you're not disturbing anything.
That's so cool.
So Miss
Oh,
Ann could open up her seed snail roll,
I'm
pull
tell you,
out like
Ginger.
4 of those plants, and then be like, "Hey guys, anybody want some
anybody
plants?
want squash plants?
I got
Now,
some squash plants." Unroll it and just be like, boom, 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 and give it away to people.
there you go. Now, Ginger had a question of how do you know the best time to remove plants from the seed snail?
Well, you don't want to get the plants too huge, but plants
Yeah.
are pretty forgiving, you know? And they're just going to spread those roots. The longer you leave it in, the more the roots will touch each other
Oh.
and kind of intertwine. But if you unroll it and it looks like, oh my gosh, I can't pull these apart without breaking the roots, just take all of your plants, unroll it, pick them all up, put them in a bucket of water and just shake it. And those roots will come apart and you won't be ripping those roots.
Okay. I'm wondering now about Miss Ann's. I wonder if all her roots are starting to get together because they're so big.
I bet. I mean, they might be.
I want you to do a little video so you can show me when you
I'm so
unroll it.
tempted to do it tonight. I mean, we're already at 28
I
minutes.
was about to say, Monica's saying, basically FaceTime her when you do it.
Yeah, like I need you to make a little video. Just be like, Worth, I need you to hold it right here so I can unroll this. And
Yeah.
Sandy, there's another question for you on can construction paper be used to make seed snail rolls?
oh,
Well, honestly, paper can be used, but because the paper is, when it gets wet, it starts to fall apart. And then the roots are going in between. And then you really have a harder time pulling those roots apart. You're really better using bubble wrap. You could use the stuff that lines a hanging pot. You can buy that in a roll.
Oh,
You could,
yeah. Mhm.
I've used those before. You can use the foam roll. That's what Anne has.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of things, but anything that's paper that's going to biodegrade fairly fast, and paper's not very thick. It's
Right.
and so you don't have that much dirt. It's not like how people grow in a toilet paper roll. You have more dirt right there around that one seed than you do on a snail.
Right.
So you just have to be a little more careful. It's not like it wouldn't work, but the roots would be going through that paper.
But
Yeah.
you can get that stuff for the pots that you were talking about. You can get that at Dollar Tree now, or $1.25 Tree, whatever you want to call it. The roll is at Dollar Tree in the garden section now, which is usually on the side wall.
Oh, cool.
'Cause I found it there.
oh,
There was another question I wanted to pop up from Cheryl. Round the hay bale is where this episode is. If you go to our QR code, or if you go to our link tree link in our bio, that's where the episode is. So it's not on any of our 4 channels. It's on our collective Round the Hay Bale podcast YouTube channel.
And actually, Nanny Tam sent. She attached the. She attached the one for that one right there. Is actually Sandy making the seed snails too. The podcast episode will be over on Round the Hay Bale, so I'll grab that and send that over too, just so you see it.
Okay. Yay. Good. Oh, good. And Ginger put up Round the Hay Bale link. That's good.
A lot of times we want to stagger our planting, right? We we plant 6 plants, and 2 weeks later we want to plant 6 more.
Right.
Well, if you time your seed snail right, you could unroll it, take 6 of them, roll it back up, wait that week or 2 before you're planting the next ones, and then unroll it again, take 6 more. And then
Okay.
you have a succession planting. And so you have more vegetables that way. Or
I could
if
do
there's a
that.
hailstorm, you didn't
Yeah.
plant everything and lost it all.
That's
My
true.
mind's already been blown.
I could do that 8 times this summer with
That's
squash. Yeah. Plant 6, wait 2 weeks, plant 6, wait 2 weeks, plant 6, wait 2
Yeah.
weeks.
But you eventually it gets too crowded. The roots
Oh,
get too
yes.
crowded. So, but just plan, how many plants do I need? Can I plant them?
That's so cool.
And
Right.
so it's just such a tiny space for so many plants, and just take advantage of it.
And you can have your seed snails tiny. I mean, like little.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like little. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, you could still have 6 plants in a little
Yeah.
itty bitty seed snail.
Yeah. And then just put it in a plastic cup,
Right.
Mhm.
And then you can just water it from below. I like to water them from below
Yes.
versus above, but that's just choices. Sometimes your pot that you put it in to hold it doesn't let you water below, but
Yeah. Well, I just use masking tape on the outside to tape it up so I could put it anywhere. It is a game changer, Ginger.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see you do it. So I
I'm so
planted.
excited about all this. If you do it, if you're in the chat and you try this and you're, finding success with it, come back and let us know. Troy, everybody that's doing it, come back and let us know. We want to hear.
yeah.
And you can click on the Round the Hay Bale. You can go there, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, make sure you're catching up, because we're talking about all kinds of really cool things over this season. We're getting really in depth, and we're trying to help you really supercharge your garden, supercharge your season. And, I think it's cool because you can click on any of those things. We want to hear your comments. We want to know if you're doing it.
Yeah.
And if you are doing it, please tag Round the Hay Bale in your
Yes.
videos. We would love to be able to see your progress, especially because I'm still new at this too. And I want to see everybody else doing it so that I can see what they're doing and know, how it's
That's
going.
right.
Okay.
I will video unrolling all these squash, or at least a few of them. So I'll video that part.
Yeah, I have a new raised bed that I'm putting together this week, and so I'm actually going to plant those in there. So
Woohoo! That's
I love that.
fantastic.
Are we going to get a video?
we are going to get a video.
Yay!
Whoop, whoop.
And also this morning on my Tuesday Live, I was talking all about Sandy from Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming, and her video where she made shampoo bars. So if you want to go check out Sandy from Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming, I'm telling you, she's a plethora of information.
Yes.
And that was a lot of fun.
We're proud of you, Miss Ann, for trying the soap. 'Cause
I did. I tried.
She's a soap maker now.
I
Yes,
am.
she is.
I made some more today.
Oh, good.
Ooh,
It's-
I'm so
It's
excited.
addictive. Yes, she was. I can testify because Ginger was in there too.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. It was. It's addictive now. I want to do, soap all over my house. So, or shampoo bars. So far,
That's cool.
Oh, maybe in the chat, maybe they could say what they'd like to try. What's the first
Ooh.
seed snail you'd like to
Yeah.
try?
First
And
seeds.
that might be interesting for people to see how everybody's mind is working.
And
Yeah.
Ann Philbeck says she's up to 10 raised beds. That's so cool.
That's
10
amazing.
raised beds. Oh, ground garden and growing and growing. Good for you, honey. That sounds like a lot of maintenance. Good for you.
Now, Serena just said she planted container basil, thyme, zucchini in containers. Basil seeds are super tiny. She just surface sowed them. So if I was going to do basil in my seed snail,
Nasturtium.
I imagine lettuce would be easier too, where you would just surface sow them and then cover them with some.
You can use some soil. You could use vermiculite. Some people use perlite. They could use a little layer of sand. Not too
So I
thick
could do that
because-
so I would want to surface sow maybe my basil or my lettuce. Those little tiny ones.
Yeah, well, I still put the lettuce in the dirt. It pushes.
I feel
its
like
way
you
up,
did in your one video too. But would my basil go that deep, or should I surface sow the basil?
You're probably with basil. You're probably better to just surface and then
Sprinkle
just
them. Okay.
a little bit.
Okay.
We're learning over here, y'all. We're
I love
learning over here. And
How true.
I just thought those seed snail things were the coolest thing since sliced bread. I had never heard of them. I mean, they've been around forever, right?
30 years or more.
I'm
Yeah.
sure
We've just not been in Wyoming to know about it.
Oh, that's
Well,
true.
You know, sometimes people think things are brand new because all of a sudden it's all over YouTube.
Right.
Right.
But that's
Um,
okay. If it makes more people plant that way, you know, to start their seeds, okay, that's all right.
That's right. And I learned it from Lisa from Yogi Hollow Farm. She showed how to do it, and I thought I was just going, oh, that's just the coolest. So
I think it was Anne that talked to us when we have a meeting usually at the beginning of our podcast time of what episodes we want to do, and Anne was talking about seed snailing, and me and Monica looked like Anne had 7 heads.
yeah,
She was saying that, so we're like, what? So
What?
yeah,
it really was a great topic, and
Yeah.
I think something new that all of us are going to be trying. Sandy's already tried it, but all of us will be trying over the next couple of months, because who doesn't want to save a little bit of space when you're growing the seeds? And this is the best way to do it, to grow the maximum amount of seeds in a small amount of space. And we hope that you try it in there. Again, like Monica said, tag us if you do it on shorts or posts. We'd love to see it. But as Andel always says, we've come to that time. We've come to that time. We try to keep it to about 30 minutes for our lives. And we really appreciate y'all coming into the chat and talking back and forth with us on with questions and comments. And we love hearing about your garden. I know Serena, I saw a couple ones pop up of different ones. We really love hearing about that. And we hope that you come back next week. I don't really know what we're going to be talking about right now, but I know it's a great episode.
It'll be good.
It is
Whatever it is.
It's
It's a
awesome.
great episode, whatever we're talking about. So we hope you have a wonderful night and a wonderful week. And we will see y'all next Tuesday on Round the Hay Bale. Hey, y'all. Hey. So bye, y'all. Bye.
Bye, y'all. Bye.
Hey, Monica, did you know it's now even easier to listen to Round the Hay Bale podcast?
What? Really? How easy?
That's right. All you have to do is say, Alexa, play Round the Hay Bale podcast.
Playing Round the Hay Bale podcast on Apple Music.
Ooh, we're really fancy now.
Tune in to Round the Hay Bale every Monday at 9 a.m. Central Time.